Hey, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Happy day 2 of the Get Up and Go challenge. I know it's early. I haven't picked a time that works that I can have my granddaughter here and do the live portion of the Get Up and Go challenge. So I wanted to hop on and do it before she gets here in the morning, just to make sure that I can clearly communicate with you what it is that we're going to look at and we're going to work on and we're going to do today. And maybe what I'll do is I'll do my homework, my assignment, my video, shooting me doing the thing that I'm asking you to do while she's here. But if I can get to it, I'd rather do that before she gets here as well. First off, let's start with a little quote from Wayne Dyer. I love Wayne Dyer and the Everyday Wisdom for Success book, and I just kind of randomly paged through and picked one for today, and I like this one. Let me grab my magnifying glass so I can read it. It says, "You'll come to know that the fear of not having enough prevents many from seeing that they already are enough." One of my favorite stories and expressions after I had my sudden cardiac arrest was coming out of that and doing a lot of studying and trying to figure out what the heck had happened to me, because kind of like this pandemic, a lot of us are in a stage where we're like, what the hell is going on? What the heck is happening? How can my world have blown up and changed in such a short period of time? And I was kind of the same way when I woke up from the coma after I had a sudden cardiac arrest. I didn't understand or even know what a sudden cardiac arrest was, much less that it could stop me in my tracks and cause me to drop dead. And luckily for me, I was in the right place at the right time, and the bartender of the business I owned that I was walking through knew CPR, and so he could keep me going till the paramedics got there, and they jump-started me with the ICD from the car. But I didn't know any of this had gone on, and I didn't understand it. I had just gone through an experience. I woke up and I was like, what the heck's going on? And a lot of us are in this same situation right now. But one of the messages and the lessons that I learned as I was exploring and trying to figure it all out and understand the meaning of life after that event was I was listening to a Darius Barzanti recording. That was back when teleseminars, right? When they were doing recordings and teleseminar interviews more than video interviews like we do nowadays. Amazing how much changes in just a couple of years. But one of the speakers, and I can't remember who it was now, and I feel bad because it had such an impact on me, he said, "You are enough." And I was listening to it by myself at home, and I burst into tears. I mean, I just started crying because so many of us, and apparently me as well, feel like for some reason we're not enough. We don't deserve to have all the things that we want. We don't deserve to create and have the life that we want. And obviously I was right up there with them, that I would burst into tears over that. So any expression, any saying that talks about and reminds us the incredible human beings and the incredible beings that we are, I like those sayings. So that's part of why I picked that one today. But today we're going to talk about, where are you? What is your specific, unique situation right now? Are you working? Are you at home? Are you at home working, or are you just at home because your business has been shut down or your job has disappeared? I've lost count of how many people I know and have talked to already whose businesses are shut down, or who have gotten fired or lost their jobs or furloughed or laid off or whatever, including people in my own family. My daughter was fired, and now she's out with her husband in Colorado and the dog, so it's very quiet where I am. But so much change so quickly, it's really hard for us to take. So I want to talk today, and I don't want us to look at it emotionally. I just want us to look at and be really honest about where we are. And we're going to look at 7 different areas of our life. We're just going to give them a number between, I like obviously numbers and ranges, because if we measure something, we can see if it's changing in the direction we want it to go or not. So just on a scale of 1 to 10 or 0, I would say 0 applies in some situations. Where are you at physically? Where's your health? Are you one of the people that is at risk and needs to take more precautions right now in your life and in what you're doing or not doing? I am one of those high-risk people, and so I've had to take a lot more precautions than I normally would if I want to go out and do anything. Not if I want to go for a walk outside, but if I want to go to a store or something. And mostly I'm just having people bring me stuff. You know, my son's going to get my prescription for my heart and things like that. And we just do what we have to do. So physically, where are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you healthy? Are you doing really well? Are you at 8, 9, or 10? A high number would mean you're doing awesome. You're doing really well in that area. A low number, you know, I can't give myself more than like a 5 or a 6 because I am a high-risk person. And let's be honest, I've gotten a little slippage in my good habits during this we've been kind of quarantined for about 3 weeks now, and it's going to be another month, a whole month more of this. So I have started beefing up and doing and making sure that I'm following my routine from a physical health standpoint. But where are you right now? 1 to 10, physical well-being, mental well-being. How are you feeling? What are you thinking about? And not feeling so much. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? What are you doing that is feeding your thoughts in a positive or negative way? And what are you thinking? What's your mindset? 1 would be, I'm really negative, I'm really fearful, I'm really not, okay, I'm mixing my emotions and my thoughts, because the next category is mentally. Where are you at mentally? So thoughts and mental, physical, mental, and emotional. Sometimes they all get tied together, right? If we are feeling upset because we're thinking and we're watching the news and we're feeling bad about what's going on and we've lost our job and we're like wondering what the heck we're going to do to get food on the table, or to make our house payment or our rent or our car payment or whatever, that can trigger our emotions, and then our emotions and our thoughts can actually make us physically sick. I contend that my sudden cardiac arrest was not only due to not taking care of myself for 20 years, but also due to all the stress and all the craziness that was going on in my life at that time that was just overwhelming. And I know, as I looked back at that situation, my thinking was bad. Every day I was asking myself and telling myself everything that would happen. It was just one more thing to overwhelm and stress me out. And I remember thinking and saying, I can't take this. I can't do this. And after about a month of that, guess what happened? I had a sudden cardiac arrest, and I was in a position where I didn't have to take any of it. It all shut down. So physically, 1 to 10. Mentally, thought process, mindset, 1 to 10. Emotions, where are your emotions? 1 to 10. I gotta admit, and it's really, I don't want to seem bad, but my emotions are like a 9 or a 10. I'm doing really good through most of this, with the exception of last night. I had a little bout of, and I know it was because I was tired, of being doubtful and wondering, geez, should I be doing this Get Up and Go challenge? And I know I absolutely positively should be. So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Where are you spiritually? And spiritual means your spirit, your being, your soul, and however you define that, however you define spirituality. Is it religion for you? Where are you just knowing that you will be okay? Where are you in your confidence and your knowing that there's this big plan, this big grand plan, and that you're always supported? If you're feeling like you're always supported, you're up closer to 10. If you're feeling like you're all alone and that you're in this by yourself and that you don't have any spiritual or connection outlets or religious beliefs and things, maybe you're down more closer to a 1. So we got physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financially. Where are you financially? Depending on your situation, that could be, a 1 to a 10. None of us are a 0, because nobody's going to starve because of this. There are resources out there, and there are things to take care of all of us, no matter what. Even if we lost our job and we had no money in the bank and we have no credit, we're going to take care of each other, right? We're going to take care of each other. So don't give yourself a 0, because it's not a 0. Everybody will be okay. So 1 to 10, where are you financially right now? If you had savings and you're feeling good and you've got income still coming in, you're still working, excuse me, that made me cough, you're probably a higher number on the scale of 0 to 10. But where are you? Just where are you right now, this minute, today? And it's just a feeling of where you are. These are subjective numbers, and nobody's going to judge it or see it except you. So where are you? So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. Okay, relationships. Where are you with respect to relationships right now? Now, just because we have to be physically separated doesn't mean we can't be interacting with one another and having relationships. There's Skype, there's Zoom, there's all kinds of technology. There's Facebook calling, right? You can do Facebook video. You can be on Facebook, and if you're watching me, you know how to use Facebook. There's a little thing on the Messenger that's got a little camera up in the corner. You can pop that, and you can actually look at people and see them and talk to them. So we can be connected even though we're disconnected. So where are you with respect to like a relationship or people or a support system, so you don't feel like you're in this all by yourself and alone? Again, a scale of 1 to 10. And the last one, the last category we're going to look at for where are we at right now is contribution, meaning how much are you giving and sharing with other people and And that might be just giving your time and attention to other people, not money. It's not about money ever or other resources, but if you have those, you can share those as well. But it's about your contribution to the world or to anything outside of you, right? It doesn't have to be the world. Maybe it's just me hanging out with my 4-year-old granddaughter. That's a contribution in a positive way to the world in this situation. So where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 in each of those 7 categories? So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. And I will write those in the comments below so that you don't have to remember. But give yourself a score, and I'll let you know a little secret. We're going to look at this on day 30 or day 31, and we're going to re-look at these numbers and see where you are from now to the beginning of the challenge to the end of the challenge. Because what you're going to find as we go through this 30-day challenge is it's all about how you feel about your situation and how you feel, because how you feel about your situation will determine what you'll do and how you'll act and what course of action you'll take over the course of the next 30 days, whether you'll participate in the challenge or not. All of that will be determined by where you're starting out and where do you want to be. So today it's all about where are you you at. In addition to that, now you guys, I gotta let you in on a little secret. I really want to use, for a part of this challenge, some of the exercises in this playbook by Lynn Grabhorn. It's the Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting playbook. And this is one of the tools that actually, I had read the book, but I didn't know there was a workbook to it. And Jim Edwards, if you know who Jim Edwards is, he's an amazing unicorn of a online marketing gentleman. And I've known him for well over a decade. And he's one of the first people that I ever got excited about the online world because of. And after my sudden cardiac arrest, one of the things that got me going again after that was that I was going on the gym boat. I think it was a gym boat 5 back then. And the gym boat is a cruise. It's a cruise of there were about 150 of us back then that were going on this cruise. And I'd already signed up for it because I was in one of Jim's coaching programs. And even though I had had a sudden cardiac arrest, I was looking forward to going on that cruise in December. And so my cardiac arrest was the day after Labor Day. So I wanted to be better, get through cardiac rehab so that I could go on this cruise in December with people in Jim boat. And that's when Jim told me about this playbook. And this playbook I absolutely positively changed the direction of my life. Now, a lot of it, and a lot of the stuff in it is what people would consider a little woo-woo, right? It talks about the law of attraction. It talks about open valves and flow and all kinds of stuff, and about us as beings and all being connected and all this stuff. But I want to use some of the exercises in this. And so I would like a vote and some comments of whether you guys are okay with that or not. If it's too woo-woo, I know Oprah Winfrey wouldn't have, you know, Esther and Jerry Hicks and Abraham on any of her shows. She did finally do some audio podcast things with them, but she would never have them on her show because she believed they were too woo-woo for everybody, right? I believe that we're adults and we can think of and we can choose and we can say, yeah, that doesn't work for me on our own. So I would like to know if you guys are okay with some of the exercises. Some of these exercises, and I made myself do this book. She recommends at the beginning that you do the workbook and you don't skip any exercises. You go all the way through. And there's one exercise that took me 2 months of looking at it every single day. It turns out when I did it, it took me like 10 minutes, but I remember it was only minutes and I was like, oh my God, I wasted 2 months not letting myself do that, looking at it every day just because I didn't want to do it. And it turns out that was the exercise that opened everything up for me in my life and made everything flow more smoothly because that was the one I needed. That was my block. So I'd like to use some exercises for this, but I didn't pick one today because I'm afraid that people are like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. It's too woo-woo. So maybe I'll pick one tomorrow. But for today, I picked another one out of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And I will admit, I did not go in and I said I would type up the some of the questions in some scenarios from yesterday's, and I'll still do that in the comments. I just didn't get to it yesterday, and I could make up excuses, but I don't have any. I'm sure I could have gotten to it, I just didn't. I don't even remember why. You know how the days kind of get away from us sometimes? One of those days. So I could probably come up with an excuse, but I don't have one, so I'm going to be honest and tell you, I don't know why I didn't get it done, but I didn't get it done. Now today, this exercise is kind of cool because it's about being in the eye of the storm. And it says practice being in the eye of the storm. So I'm going to read just a couple, and I want to make up my own Eye of the Storm examples quiz. And I don't think I'll do a whole quiz. This is a 10-question quiz, and then you score it all out and everything. We don't want to be that complicated. We just want to know, where are we right now, and how well are we at handling challenges and situations. I got to tell you, I don't think anything in our lives could have prepared us for what we're going through right now, right? I mean, some things could have, but for the most part, each and every one of us are in, at least we were in initially, a reactionary mode. And okay, this is what's going on. What am I going to do now? Or what do I need to do now? But we can actually practice being in the eye of the storm, because you know what? We know that this isn't the last situation or the last challenge we're ever going to face. The one thing I can guarantee you for sure is that stuff's going to happen in your life, right? It's not going to be this smooth ride to the finish line in your deathbed where everything just went hunky-dory, oh, so nice and smoothly and calmly, and you know, you come to the end of your life and you're like, oh, that was so wonderful, and you close your eyes and you go to sleep. Not going to happen. Not going to happen for hardly any of us. Maybe there's, you know, 1 or 2 people on the planet that will happen for. For the most part, the rest of us, we're going to have to deal with challenges, and how we deal with them is entirely up to us. So practice being in the eye of the storm. How do we do that? Well, we think about different situations that we've been in the past, or that we are in right now, and how we're handling them, how we could handle them, how we did handle them, or how we might handle them in the future. So let me give you a couple examples. Let's see what Richard had to say in this. Oh, here's what he suggests. He says, begin with a harmless scenario like a family gathering or something. At the onset of the chaos, tell yourself that you're going to remain calm. Practice breathing, practice listening, be an example of peace. Later, you can practice on more difficult areas of your life. So think about a situation that you've been in and everything was fine, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose and there's chaos, and how you could handle it. Think about how you did handle some of the situations, or how you could handle it. Say you are up for a promotion and you think you've got it in the bag and you're going to get it, and all of a sudden you're in a staff meeting and your boss announces that the promotion goes to somebody else. That is definitely an example of eye in the storm. How would you handle that? How could you handle that? Could you, how maybe you've had that situation happen to you. I've had that happen to me. How did you handle it? How about your best friend or someone you're related to gets rushed to the hospital because of the COVID-19? How are you going to react to that? How are you going to feel about it? What are you going to do? What could you do? How are you going to respond? Because that's definitely a realistic eye of the storm, and a lot of people have already experienced that. Personally, haven't had that happen to anybody in my family, but it's possible, right? Let's look at another one. Oh, you're driving to work and your car breaks down, or you're driving to work and you get in a car accident. How do you respond? How do you handle that? Maybe, you know, that's one that's happened to a lot of us, right? Or you're going for a big interview and there's a blizzard, there's a snowstorm. How are you going to handle that? What are you going to do? Because that's an example of chaos. Any interruption in what we consider our normal life, any challenge to our normal routine is, you know, being kind of in the eye of the storm. So how do you handle that? How will you handle that? So what do we want to do for our challenge today? For our challenge today, I don't want everybody to report their numbers. I want you to write them down. Whatever you do, I want you to get a scrap of paper or a notebook, better yet, you know, your own little notebook for the challenge, and do the exercises and journal in the challenge. You know, write out the answers to the challenge and then decide what you're going to share or not share in the action item area. But I don't want you to share your numbers. I'm trying to see if I planned out what I actually wanted you to do for a share today. I know, okay. So do that, write it down, but for the action item today, let's just give a couple of word description of where we're at right now, your situation. You can say, and let's do our physical, and our physical situation. I'm trying to think how I want to describe that. Let's describe ourselves, where we're at right now. So, are you at risk? Are you at risk for COVID-19? And if so, just, yeah, I'm at risk, working from home, or fired, or laid off, or business shut down. Just tell us where you're at in the comments below, so we can get a feel for where everybody is, what our situation is. You know, I am an at-risk, old and health challenges. I'm an at-risk work from home. I guess I'm an online consultant, so I'm still working. I'm still doing my thing because I already had an online business. Grandma, I guess. So I'm an at-risk, work from home grandma, or at-risk online business owner grandma, something like that. Or not at risk, or you know, I don't want everybody sharing their age, but whatever, however you want to describe yourself. What is your current situation? You know, my daughter would say fired. She's healthy, fired, although yeah, she's a little at risk and has slightly compromised immune system, so maybe slightly at risk. She's not too at risk because she traveled across the country to be with her husband with the dogs, much to her mom's chagrin. So just our action item will be, and I'll describe it better in the action item post on the Get Up and Go private group. Just describe your current situation, and you can describe it as elaborately or as simply as you want. I would say simply so we can get a feel for who you are, but elaborately if you want. If you want to make a video and introduce yourself, I'm all for that too, because I think we want to be connected and stay connected and see one another and get to know each other. So that's it. That's our Get Up and Go challenge for today. Pretty easy one, but really important. It's always important to take stock and know where you really are. And chances are we are emotionally feeling worse off than we actually are, physically and financially and everything else. I know I've been talking to some people that are completely and totally freaked out about financial. The financial thing, the economic thing, again, it's not nearly as important as the human factor, and if we keep that in perspective, we'll all be just fine. All right, if I can help you anyway, or if you have questions, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow for day 3 of our Get Up and Go challenge, so that we can make sure that you are better off at the end of this 30-day period than you are at the beginning. Take care. Bye.